Good morning, everyone, and how are you doing today on this Wednesday Hump Day? Here we are, February 26th. Wow. Time flies when you're having fun, right? Okay, today what I'm going to work on is I'm working in WalkTheWeb. I'm creating a demo scene. I'm using 4K graphics on a lot of things. There's a lot of pieces here, and I am working to make it efficient so that things are spaced out when they load. Checking a lot of load zones, splitting some objects into different things, kind of working with the graphics a little bit, trying to make sure that they are small enough or as small as they can be without losing quality. So a lot of things like that. Going to be doing a big chunk of that today and just seeing what we can do about making things run smooth. So going to be walking around a scene, checking the different load zones, and just trying to make it work as best it can. So going to be breaking down some things. You'll see some Blender, you'll see some WalkTheWeb, you'll see some graphic quick stuff and fixes and different things. So bear with me, and here we go. Off we're running. Okay, starting with this scene. This is kind of where I'm at. And let's see, what do we have here? So this is a demo scene that I'm creating, and basically what I have here is we're looking at the pier. Let me give you a kind of a bird's eye view so far what I have here. So if I back up out of the scene, by the way, all I had to do was click on that little avatar camera off, and basically it releases the camera from the avatar, and I can take a look at how things are from here as I'm doing it. So this is the base of the scene, what loads as soon as I come into here. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to be paying attention to certain things like that lifeguard shack over there. What loads when I come up here. Now if I click it back, I go right back to my avatar. Now watch what happens. As I walk forward, first thing that happens is a little lifeguard booth shows up. But did you notice the lag? This is where I'm at. Okay, so I'll do a couple more things before we start working on it, but notice from right here, right there, it actually starts loading it, and we get up here, and there's the boat booth. So, hey, good morning, YouTube. How you doing today? So I'm working on the big scene. This is the demo scene. Looks like demo's going to be soon. Getting a scheduling conflict thing going, so we're going to fix that, and I'm going to be doing a demo soon. But right now what I'm working on is when things load and seeing if I can't make it the most efficient that it can be. So starting with this scene, I'm going to walk up here towards the pier, and notice when the lifeguard shack shows up, should be right about, boom, there it is. Has a little bit of a lag, so I'm going to take a look at that lifeguard shack and see if we can't do something with it. Clean it up, make it streamline a little bit better. First thing I'm going to do is, I have it open in Blender here, but I'm going to do a little more here. Let me move my thing to the other side so you can see this bottom corner, since that's where all the property settings are and stuff. Been trying to set up a demo of personal data voice over IP. Nice. System on my site. Learning Node.js is slowing me down though. Okay, yeah, you know something, I only learned Node.js about 2 weeks ago, or a week and a half ago, so I'm right there with you. But I am getting really efficient with it. I was able to, I'll share the code with you, by the way. I think I already sent some of it to you, but when I'm done streaming, I'll share the code with you, because what I've got is on the server side, I actually separated it so it works per scene that you're in, or per building, or per thing that you're around. So we'll talk some more about that afterwards. But I have my Node.js app set up, and we can tie into that, or I can at least show you what I did, and makes it run pretty efficient. So far it's working really well. Multiplayer seems to be doing really good in here. Oh, just so you can see, here's a little look at some of the stuff I've done. Okay, so by the way, just to make the app look better, see that little umbrella down there? Well, as you walk towards it, there's a couple chairs, and then I even threw in some, bot avatars. So they basically are down in here. I know, where'd it go? Oh, I walked out of the scene. See, that's the stuff that I'm checking right now. Let me go back up this way. Where'd they go? There they are. Okay, seems that there's a where this thing hits. Okay, if I back up, go in this direction, Okay, so right there. Ooh, we're not even all the way down the beach and we already lost them. Okay, that's some of the stuff that I'm working on right now that I can fix. Because I want to make sure that it's in the right region around this item so that if I walk anywhere on the beach, these people are here and they're loaded and they're working. Right now, as you can see, that isn't correct. I shouldn't lose them just by walking up this direction. So, and then, because I'm also losing the umbrella, which is interesting. The umbrella is set for extreme. I don't know why I don't have it until I walk in that area. Huh, okay. I got to double check the load zone. In fact, here, let's see. The load zone for this is, okay, there's a close load zone there. This should be the high load zone. It should be working all the way till there, which sounds about right. And then this is the extreme load zone, which tells it when to load otherwise. So we actually, those guys should all be loaded in the high load zone. So this section right in here is where they should be loading. Okay, so why is it? Let me make sure that is doing what it's supposed to, because technically none of that stuff is supposed to disappear when I'm out of the close load zone. Okay. I got a flaw in the system there, so I'm going to have to find out what's going on with it. In fact, let's track that down. Seems like as good a point as any. See, when I'm in this piece right here, let's double check everything. Okay. This. See, anytime you're editing something, you got the thing ID, the building, or the community ID right up here. So you can actually grab that, and looking in your database, I want to double check these items. I just want to see what's going on. Oh, it's not a building, it is a thing ID. Because if this thing's broken, we're going to fix it. Let's see, a little more laggy than usual. I loaded a lot more things in the scene, but don't worry because I'm still refining it. Also, there's another thing it's doing, and that is the ping. Let's see. I'm still working on that. What it is it won't normally be this laggy. I can tell you that already. In fact, what's happening is I think since the cycle of movement and stuff, the Node.js stuff, I'm broadcasting all the time with it, and I need to throttle it back a little bit because it's going a lot faster than my frames per second. So I need to throttle it and do some things with it so that it doesn't overwhelm the system. And I have some stuff I can do with it here. Because see, right now what's happening is, yeah, you can walk up the lifeguard thing. Yeah, it does work. Okay, so wait a minute, that's not the way I left this. Oh yeah, that is. Okay, no problem. So in here, let's see, right here, it is doing this broadcast my avatar movement. Every time it sends, it automatically broadcasts it to everybody else. And that's running at my frames per second. So that means you're receiving something at my frames per second, but you're doing that from each person in the scene. So I think what I want to do is I want to you can't walk up the ramp? Okay. I still, you know what, I'm still playing around with that a bit. Yeah, let me give it a shot. See if my character can do it. Dude, what am I doing? Let's see. Okay, let me turn off these load zones. We don't need to see all that for the minute. Come over here. Okay, so you talking about this ramp, right? Or no, you're talking about the actual lifeguard tower? Oh, the lifeguard tower on the beach. I'm sorry. I just got what you're saying. Let me jump down there. Run across here and I'm sure it's going to bring a bunch of stuff over there. Okay. Oh, it's off the ground. You know what? I re-angled the beach. There's my problem. Here, what I did was I re-angled the beach so that it would have more beach to it. But what's happening is that's off the ground. So see, look, I'm like 3 steps off the ground here. Let me refresh that. We want it right on the ground. Okay, okay, I hear what you're saying. Yeah, let me check this out. Let's see what happens. I was able to walk up it before, so let's see. Oh, something else is going on with it. No, there's something else going on. There's definitely something else going on. Now I'm stuck in it. Okay. Huh, that wasn't happening before, so let me take a look. First things first, these items, I want to make sure they saved with their different respective settings. Extreme zone, okay. He's in the high zone. Okay, yeah, see, they're in the right place. Okay, so that one should work. Let me go back to that. Buildings. And you noticed it in the other map? Okay, I'm going to grab just the lifeguard booth here. It's another thing that I plan on working on, by the way. If we have to, we'll make it a little shorter, or we'll do something to make sure that it has a good direction on it. But right now, I think when I first created it, I was able to run right up it. And you're right, there's something going on with it. And then I'm stuck on it. See, now I can't even get off it. Okay, there's something going on with it. Not sure what happened. Okay, well, let's see. I'll come back to this other booth. Let's take a look at this one, because this one was on my list anyway. Got to make sure it doesn't have... it may have something across there that I turned on collisions, and I know it was working on the other map when we first put it in there, though. So maybe it's... Oh, I know what I did. I changed the dimensions of the person's ellipse around them. And if they can't fit between those two posts, that would be the problem. Let me take a look at that. Just thinking of what I've worked on and what I've changed. We can adjust this still. I was just trying to make it where his shoulders didn't like knock into things as they turned and moved. But of course, being able to walk up things that are kind of narrow are still a priority. So if I go to, let's see, the build. Yeah, I appreciate you helping me test this stuff, definitely. But yeah, what's happening is, I can tell you already, there's an ellipse around the person, okay, when they create an avatar. And this ellipse, what it does is it's basically checks the collisions on the ellipse instead of on every part of the avatar, which is very cumbersome on the system. So this ellipse was 2x4x1 before, which every time I rotated or stood too close to a wall, the shoulder would be like in the wall. So I tried to adjust it just a little bit more play. Let me make it a 3x3, and let's see if that doesn't help it here. I'm trying to find the right values. I want to make sure that you're not walking up against a wall and putting the arm right through the wall, but at the same time, I don't want to block things like this, where if you look like you should fit up the passage, then you should. But I'm sure that's what's happening. It's actually, yeah, see, there it is. Okay, so now we can walk up the ramp, and that is what was holding it back. See, the thing was, and it's actually just about right, because my arms aren't going through the handrail, which is what I was trying to avoid. So, yeah, it looks like it's about the right length now. So I shorten that up a little bit. We're still able to get through the passage. If anybody makes a passage any smaller than that, it might not fit. But this is a pretty good handrail and pretty good width and everything. So yeah, so now we should be able to walk up here, no problem. Turn around. Okay, that's probably fixed in the main scene now. And I do plan on doing something with this, like right now. The distance that it loads and also what loads at each stage. I want to break that down a little bit only because we can. And because it's kind of running slow when it does load. So I got to check the different graphics on it and everything else. I found the hippie. Isn't that funny? Kind of has a clown face, and that was something else I've got to solve, but I didn't want to waste a lot of time on it, so I threw him in there under those conditions. But here's the deal on that one. I got to tell you this since you're on it. Okay, in Mixamo, if I go to characters, that dude is actually this guy right here. Now notice his face doesn't look anything like that face in the picture. When the graphics come into the scene, for some reason I'm having trouble with transparencies importing ever since I went to Blender 2.8. Now there's a new version of Blender, but for some reason the exporter to Babylon hasn't been updated to work with it yet. So a little bit of fixing going on and stuff on that stuff, I'm sure. But once that works, then I think it's going to fix the problem for me. Because in Babylon, or in Blender 2.79, I didn't have any problem with any images. So now I'm bringing it across, and for some reason, it's not able to work at those distances. So what I did was I grabbed this guy, then I went to animations, and if you type guitar, you're going to love this. This is kind of cool. But then, of course, I had to put the guitar in the guy's hand, so I animated that myself. But it's not like it's the best... it's not like it's the best version of itself. But this is kind of what he's doing. So he's pretty cool. The other part of it, though, is the guitar in his hand. I had to animate that separately, add it in, kind of move it with his hand. It's not perfect. I got a couple places I could adjust and fix it even better. And given more time, I will. I'll go through and maybe even keyframe every frame or something. Give it more keyframes. Because right now it kind of bounces in and out of his hand as he's moving around and stuff. So, the other part was it's actually running two different animations in my system. So one for the guitar, one for the person. If I change it and add another bone to like his hand where it is the guitar, then I can make it all the skeleton and it'll all run as one. I just didn't have time to do it. Is the hitbox the same as bounding box? Yes, it is. Yes, it is. It's an ellipse around the character that's invisible, but at the same time, that's what it's checking for collisions to see that you don't walk through walls. Instead of trying to do that with the actual mesh, because the actual mesh is complex. It's moving all the time. You're moving your arms. You're moving, through the animations. Everything's moving. So you don't really want to have it do those different pieces all at once. Okay, I don't need that anymore. By the way, that's something I was looking at. I'm a cheapskate. I want to see if I can find it for cheaper than $2.10 before I buy anything like that. Oops, excuse me. Okay, so by the way, there's also, this is something else that I haven't used yet. I've used it in earlier versions, but I haven't done it here. Hey, Bookus, how you doing this morning? Today I'm working on a scene, seeing if we can't make it run really efficient, and yeah, got a handful of things we're doing with it, so we'll fix some things along the way, adding some things. Some of these graphics are too large. Some of them load at the wrong times or too often. So basically I'm balancing out the scene and seeing if we can't fix some things. Oh, by the way, here's a couple new things. You're procrastinating? You don't want to work today, huh? I can't blame you. I worked till about midnight last night, so nice day of it. Okay, so when I walk over here, one of the things I've added, this is kind of cool. Remember we were talking about making these games work, admin? Well, here's what we're going to do. I've got a couple games in here, and we'll add some more, but right now, what I have is, first of all, I found a nice version of Skee-Ball, so we'll Yeah, I can walk myself through the wall here. Okay, and run into a different wall because I'm not paying attention. Okay, and then we're going to also see about getting a Pac-Man game in here and use the game. But check this out. I threw a character in here who is playing the one game. Kind of looks pretty cool. Has something going on. See, there's a couple spots here. For some reason, when I walk into certain places, I'm getting stuck. And I think it's because I didn't set some of those... I think it's the way I set some of those items. But I need to make something where if you get stuck, there's some type of release thing. By the way, you don't have an avatar on my screen. Probably still loading. I've got some of the what I was talking about is there's an asset manager, and that using that I should be able to preload the files before you ever get there, so that when you're walking up on things, I can tell it, hey, start loading the file. You're going to need this soon. And then when you walk into that area and it needs to render it, it'll already have the file downloaded. So I'll be playing around with this later on. I don't want to do it right now. But see, I can actually tell it things like this to add mesh, and it would automatically pre-render this file, for example. Yeah, Asset Manager, add mesh task. That will help preload some things, especially some of these big files that we're working with. But you don't have an avatar on your screen. Okay. Make sure you have multiplayer setting turned on. Oh, I turned mine off. No wonder. There you go. Sorry about that. I wasn't broadcasting to you. So now you should have it. And do I have 3D internet turned on here? Yes, I do. Okay, may have to refresh your screen just because I haven't made it graceful for when they join into the screen or not. But yeah, so I'm adding different avatars to kind of some dummy ones to do things. Thanks. Yeah, so what I did, you're going to love this. Okay, so looking in Mixamo, first of all, there's a bunch of characters here, and I can load them as dummy characters doing whatever we want. And as you can see, it's not very hard to have them do one particular animation. So if I find the right animation, I can definitely add them. Just like over here, I added a couple people. Where are they? This one's loading really late in the game. There it is. Okay, so down here on the beach, there's a little lag when it loads. That's the stuff I'm going to fix with the Asset Manager, by the way. Also, that's off because it's only loading when I'm right there. Okay, I'll have to fix that. Okay, so looking at these people right here. Oh, I didn't load them right. See, their animations didn't start. This one's having a loading issue. This is the only one I did as a thing instead of a building, and I think that's the first time I've really tested it to that degree. So yeah, let me see. Are you in my game? Let me find out. Where are you? Am I in yours? I don't even know if I've got it all sorted out or not. Yeah, I've got to work on some of this to make it run smooth, but we should be able to get in. Okay, now I know I had this all running. Let me see if... Okay, let me take this. Wait a minute, that's not... Well, we're going to find out. We're going to reboot the remote server and just see what it can do here. And is that back up the putty? And it's still rebooting. Come on. I did set this stuff up so that it could come all the way back on and... Okay, there's the server again. And okay, there's all the services back up. I was expecting all those to work before, and it was running a lot less than that, so something was going on. Okay, so I think we have that up and running again. Now, let's refresh our screens and see what happens. Oh, you got to be in the same scene that I'm in, so if you're not in this actual scene, that's going to be an issue, but that should work. I guess we'll find out. I'll turn on my second computer here, too. Okay, and rotating around this way. Hey, I'm seeing somebody walk around. Whoa, and I ran in. There's another person. There we go. Okay, so we reset the server, and now we got the multiplayer working. Okay, that's better. That's much better. Look on Discord. Okay, let me get it going here. Okay, so we got the guy standing in the arcade playing. By the way, I still don't like the actual... I'm still not pleased with the lighting in that room, so I'm going to make it a lot brighter, put some real light going on in there and stuff, but you get the idea. Oh, by the way, did you check out the end of the street? This is kind of cool. I was able to get a fountain going. And there it is. Now we got a water fountain going. Yay. Just a little something. Oh, okay, thanks. You can't see me. Yeah, okay, so I restarted the server, the Node.js server, and it fixed it. Okay, but the good thing is now you can only see people that are in the same scene because we do have different rooms. Now I have to show you a little flaw that I found here. This is something, it's basically, it's not me. I'll tell you that in advance. It's actually the Babylon render engine that's doing this. But notice if I come in here and if I move to a position where the sky is above the waterfall, notice right there, the sky rendering actually stands in front of what we're doing. So it's not rendering the particle stream while it's in the sky. So that's something weird. So what I did, just to get by it for now, was I put these backdrops in here so that you always see something going on. Just so we'd have it in there. Not sure why the other thing is, but hey, this whole thing where you got up there, not sure how you got up there, but actually I do know how you got up there, because I think you can pretty much running start and get yourself up there, huh? That's some stuff I'm going to fix, but see how, okay, look at how it cuts off the fountain from here. So the sky rendering, for whatever reason, is doing that. Now, now being able to fly, now it's starting to look like the Matrix, right? Okay, that kind of stuff, yeah, I'll work on it. I'll work on it. We're not there yet. I know when it's doing it and why, and there are some things I can do to rectify it. I already know. But there's some other things. Oh, because I hacked it? Okay. Not a glitch? Okay. I do know that there is a little bit of a glitch because I shouldn't let you see, I shouldn't be able to see it on my screen when you hack your version of it. So what I could do is I could reapply the gravity on my screen. So whenever I receive somebody, it's actually applying the gravity to their character. Nah, I don't know. We'll see. If it becomes an issue, we'll do it. But I'm not worried about it. I'm not worried about it. Some people are going to hack it, and, you know, for what you see on the screen. Other ones, you know, different things. But yeah, so we've got a couple different things in here. As you can see, I've been doing some work. Oh, by the way, this is kind of cool too. So if we come over here, and I'm going to go inside the WalkTheWeb store. Check this out. I did a little bit of work in here. So now we have a cash register. It's still loading. it takes a second to load, and this is where the asset manager preloading things will help. But I actually have cashier working, and I have some displays with some items in them, just to give you a little bit idea of how the store works. Right now, you can't push the buttons on these, and I think I know why, and I'm going to track it down. No back door anymore. Yeah, I thought about it. I could put a back door with a opening, but yeah, I just basically blanked it out for now. I'll work on that later on. I just didn't have time, so I basically blanked it out. And the reason I blanked it out was because it turns out next to the door, there were a couple of open faces, and I have a feeling that the normals on the faces were facing the wrong direction. So you would see some actual areas where it was actually showing through the wall in the back corner there. And so instead of working on the building itself and fixing that and then adding the door, which I will do, this was a temporary fix for this demo that's coming up. But instead, I just basically closed out the wall for now. Yeah, get it. Emergency exit. No avatars are hurt in the demoing of this video. No. DVDs, VHS tapes, and broadcast TV. You know, that would be kind of cool if you could put on a DVD. Well, actually, that would be a big copyright issue. Can you imagine if you could put on a DVD on my computer and all of a sudden stream it, and people are showing it on their scenes? That wouldn't be good for that. By the way, there's still some control things. I really like how fast I can walk around. I think it's working at a pretty good speed. I can hold down the shift and I can run. So the movement with the keyboard is working really good. The movement with the mouse, I'm turning okay, but I think I could do, well, it's actually not too bad. It's not too bad. If I roll my scroll wheel, he walks forward, so that's all good, and I can roll backwards. I think I had something set up where if you hold down something, what did I do? Oh, if I hold down the left mouse button and then scroll bar, he runs instead of walks. So I do have some, you know, I like the keyboard more. The other thing, though, that's still not great on either one of them is when you look up or down, it really isn't friendly. For turning left and right, it's not too bad. But up and down is like too slow. It's when you're around the center of its movement, like let's say you just push the button down to click and you move up or down, then I think it needs to be exponential so that when you first start moving, it's kind of gentle movements so it doesn't feel jerky when you're moving, kind of like a momentum thing, and then make it go faster as you go, you know, farther distance that you move it. So I think if I adapt some type of thing like that, I think we can make the movement of there work a lot better. What do you guys think? The other thing is R and F will look up and down on the keyboard, but even then, it's slow. It's too slow to be effective. So, hacking speed and fly, I'm using it quickly to test different stuff. No, I appreciate that because, you know, you gave me a good hint on the gravity thing. So for now, just so you know, what I did was in here, I can go options and settings and I can set gravity for a particular community. So that doesn't affect the whole system. It doesn't affect any other scenes, but at the same time, I can change the gravity right here. So the fact that you tested that by just kind of hacking into it and doing it and allowed me to basically come in here, change the setting and know what to put it at. So cool. I appreciate that. It was a good, helpful hint. It does help with some of the things like we were kind of tripping on the curb sometimes when you walk up here, and now it seems to work pretty smooth for that. As you'll notice, when I'm standing in just the right position, first the guitar, the coloring of the guitar didn't come out real well, so it doesn't have enough light on my original Blender thing. But I did animate a little bit, but it's got that jerk where it all of a sudden comes out of his hand a little bit. So it's not too bad, but I've got some things I need to fix on that. It could use some work. And I think once I do, then I'll definitely be able to... I think I can make it run a lot smoother. But I think what I should do is attach to the bone in the hand, I should attach a bone that comes out, and it's actually the guitar. Then the animation for the guitar is the same animation for the skeleton of the person. If I did something like that, it would actually work really well. Hey, dude. Here we go. Hey. T-pose on animations? Yes, it uses the T-pose, but what I do is I purposely store them with the idle in place so that when I'm loading the T-pose, I'm actually loading the idle animation also. So they are in a T-pose. In fact, I can show you that. It's not too hard to show you that. Let me bring open Blender here. It's opening up. Come on. It's still loading. There we go. I'm making my computer do too many things at once. So if it starts lagging, then we'll know that I overloaded it. Okay, I'm going to open. And let's just pick a avatar. I'm going to pick Pearl, for example. When I load it, okay, so we've got this animation. We have this. If I play the animation, oh, it's not playing. Oh, there it goes. That is just a very boring animation. That is it. She basically leans from one side to the other. Okay, just curious, but that is what it's doing. Okay, that's the whole animation. Okay, there's people that are more animated than that, but you get the idea. Okay, so basically you have the animation, and it starts with the T-pose, and then basically when it applies the animation, because I'm including this basic animation with it, it automatically starts with that one, loads it up, then does it. Then what I do in the code, in fact, you can see where this is actually happening, that part of it. Let me get back into my server here. Okay, so in basic avatars, we just fixed the ellipsoid. That was nice. Basic avatars, it loads the mesh, which is your particular avatar. And then it goes through the meshes, and I rename every one of the meshes underneath it so that they have the same name as the mold, with the extension of their original name. Then I set some ambient color, which has been some of my working on trying to fix some things. Don't know if the ambient color is what's killing the transparencies or not. We'll have to actually, the transparencies were already broken before that happened, so not all transparencies, just certain ones that are coming from Blender 2.8, so I have to track that down. I check the materials to make sure that they all have an emissive color set, in case you colored them on top of their original colors, which is what happens when you set your colors for your avatar. You're actually setting the emissive colors. Okay, and then I make sure everything has a parent. So if you delete the parent, everything underneath it deletes also. We're checking the animations, and here's where it loads its original animation and puts it in begin weighted animation, and that is the idle that it's starting with. So that one is the idle, and then after it finishes that, I tell it to go, let's see. That's loading the first one, and it already knows this whole animations array. Let me see, where's that being placed? Where is it? Oh, that's the results animation array. Okay, never mind. It's the meshes one. We place it in there for the animations. These are all the animations. That's actually where it's running from. Okay, so if we want to have nice intros into a new map, we got to change the gravity. You drop like a rock on Venus. Oh, yeah. Well, the gravity will apply. The gravity is actually part of the factors, so we do have that already in place. If you look at where all the controls are in the core file, they're at the very bottom of it. The very last function in the bottom of the file is move avatar. When this happens, you'll notice that it first does its animation parts, which are the animations we just loaded. So that's the reason I jumped to it, is because it does connect to what I was just talking about. And then here, after it decides what animation to play, then for each one of these animations that are running, we go into this section, which finds out, okay, on weight, what movement are we doing? In this particular case, when you're doing on weight, what we do is we apply the gravity as the stride right here. I have a factor because I added a factor. So it's not exactly just gravity because it is the direction that you're going. The stride is how far you would fall in the amount of 1 second of gravity. Then frames per section is divided by that. And then your walk speed does play a factor in how everything moves. Okay. So it's like a complete thing based on everything you do. I might not need walk speed in there because gravity is going to be gravity and it's based on the scene, not how fast you set your speed. What it should be is probably just this gravity setting for the distance that you're going to travel. So the weight of the animation, which means if you're not completely on an on weight, then you're not falling completely fast yet, and it'll transverse over as it becomes active. But intros and transitions, I'll get to that in just a second. How to mute sound actually works. The song was driving me crazy. Oh, yeah. Yeah, it does. And there's 2 places in the scene, just so you know. You can mute the sound here, and it's also in the settings menu. Sound is off, and you can turn it off or on here. So I do have a way of doing that quick and easy, but I put it in the bar down below just because people need a quick and easy way to be able to drop it in place. So yeah. So actually, I kind of like the idea of not having the walk speed as part of the gravity, because if we set the gravity different, we're still applying another force to it. What does our walk speed have to do with gravity? That's more up to the scene. So I think I'm going to take this part out. Okay, then just so you know, this move right here uses that stride and move down vector. It'll automatically calculate the vector going downward and apply it to the avatar. So let's find out what the gravity did. It shouldn't have done much since I took out the thing. It should help with some of these walking up hills and stuff because it's a little less gravity now, or it doesn't have an effect of the speed that we're telling it to walk forward. So like if I walk over here, for example, and I walk off this edge, I'll let it load the rest of the way. This is the lag stuff that I'm working on that I'll fix. If I don't load that building all in one shot or make the graphics a little smaller or something, then I can make that run smooth. But see, that felt better than the immediate drop. I think that gravity setting does help. God, I'm getting some lag. Okay, here we go. Walking up here again. Coming up here. I'm going to go from over here. And now I'm going to walk off the edge. Now that was a lot smoother than the fast drop that I was doing before. So I kind of like it. Yeah. All these the little lags that the lags that it's doing will be fixed. It's a matter of when things load. So and what size each thing is that loads. So if it's too much, I can break it down into multiple files and break it down. In the long run, one of the things I'm going to do is whenever something like this, it's a complex mesh, has a lot of parts. Whenever they're that complex or that big, what I can do is just like I did when I designed something not in Blender, but just in the system here, I actually tell it to only load a certain amount per frame so that you never get the lag. But I haven't done that for these. I have plans to actually take what that's creating, the meshes that it creates, and break them down and then tell them to load per frame only a certain amount per frame. So I can actually send the definitions of what needs to be created over to something else and then tell it to do it. So we'll get there. We'll get there. It's not there yet, but like I said, I'm working on this stuff so that it doesn't have the lag in the scene. But some of it is I'm also trying to show off some of the stuff this thing can do. Well, in this particular scene, these graphics up here for the pier are 4K graphics. So if I can make this run smooth, then we're in great shape. And that's the whole point, is to be able to run 4K graphics smooth in these scenes. Some of the stuff runs really smooth. Some of it is still overlapping where I'm loading too many things at one time. Let's see. Okay, and then also you asked, let's see, we're letting admins have custom scripts, right? Yeah, well, you can on your own system, you can load custom scripts. So you can do it as a plugin, but I'm going to set it up so it's even easier than that. So you can basically just tell a path and it'll automatically run on your server. So we'll have some things like that set up. We'll get it going. But it's all about when things load. And that's all about this load zone thing. See, look here. You didn't even know it when we were doing this, but see how this box comes out in front of the arcade here? Some things are part of the arcade and some are not. Now that particular box, as you can see, there's a lot of boxes loading and they're overlapping. Every time I walk into one of those boxes, it's a potential chance that it could have a problem or it could lag. I'm purposely, that particular box is the arcade, so we're actually good. It's only loading when we're actually in this realm right in front of the arcade. So that's good. But notice I came out of this box. There's another box here that is running from WalkTheWeb up the street. It's all about making sure that I'm not trying to overlap the boxes too much in any one place. So notice how this particular one unloads before this one loads, but if you look right over here, if I was walking on the sidewalk, if on the right half I'm okay, if I'm on the left half, I'm loading this before this thing disappears. Some of the settings, if I fix those things, then this thing runs smoother. And that's the kind of stuff I'm looking at right now, and I'm kind of moving around some of the boxes so that they don't overlap so much. That's the kind of stuff that actually helps. Okay, so let's see what you're saying, admin. For non-admins, make an if statement that if gravity is less than 0, it resets because negative makes you go up. Oh, yeah, good call. Other than admins, but here's the thing. You can't actually set it in my app right now to below 0 or above 0. When you go to the gravity, it will only go to 0, and if you try to go to, like negative, does it go? No, it does go negative. Do I even save negative? I think oh, geez. Okay, let's fix that. We don't want it to go below 0. This one here needs to always be above 0. You're right, because as I move, I'm going to go straight up into the sky by doing that. Okay, I'll make a note for myself. I'll get to that one afterwards. Now, if they were creating a place that gravity is reversed, if they wanted to do that, they could do it through a plugin or through a custom script, and they can run it on their server or their thing. But then, so that is the hacks? Well, basically, what he's doing is he's actually using his own script to modify the scene and change what he's actually doing with it through basically he's doing it through here. He's creating some things that he's running in the console. But see, it's happening for him. So in his scene, he sees certain pieces of it. But remember, we're not going to see his stuff other than the things that get passed through the multiplayer system. So what I'm planning on doing is I'll put some validation so that when you start in a scene, you can only move so much per time so that you can't run across the scene and disappear. I could probably double check gravity every once in a while so that you fall to the ground if you try to fly or something. But we can make that where it's an option to turn on, because if you don't, the less stuff you have running, the faster it runs, obviously. So it's kind of a balance between things. If I'm in the Matrix and somebody flies by, I don't really care. Personally, and it's kind of that feel to it. If I wanted a realistic looking place, then notice I would definitely do things differently. Okay, so now notice when I walked into this box, the guy over there showed up. He's kind of faded in the distance, but see, we've got some of this stuff. Some of this stuff is the haze causing it to do these different pieces. But like here, when I walk in there, see how fast that can actually load those guys. So that's not bad in itself. Also notice when I'm running this in admin mode, I'm running a lot more scripts that normally would not need to run when I'm doing this in browse mode. So as an admin, I'm actually taxing the system more than it would normally be taxed as I'm using it. This particular one, this is where if I walk inside, notice my front door showed up and it starts loading animations on the outside. Well, let's see. I already had this spinning thing. I think I'm going to break that down later on, and I'm going to have it where it doesn't load the inside things until you're actually close to it. But in this case, when I walk into here, that's when it's actually loading everything. So now you're getting the cashier, you're getting cash register, all the products on the shelves. It actually loads a lot in the last second. So I also have some speed stuff working on walking through walls and invisible to get some nice pictures. First person's too wobbly. You know, I thought about that too. Okay, here's the deal. I actually see how his head is moving to whatever, and I come around here and I go to first person. I'm actually attached to the head with the animation. What I was thinking of doing is maybe having a checkbox where you could turn off the that motion feeling so that you could walk around first person but be solid, just as another option. I think that would be a good one where you can actually just tell it to turn off and on, so that you can pretty much use like this type of a camera view but at his face as you're walking around. So just a thought, I might do something like that so that we can totally walk around in first person view without the motion. So you get the option of both. One's more realistic, one's not. So yeah. Oh man, sorry. Yawning right in front of you, huh? That's what happens up till midnight working on this, right? Okay, so, yeah. Just making my notes. Are you in a different instance than me now? I'm running in this community, and even though I'm in admin mode, if you're in 3d.http 3d.net/beach, you're going to be in the same thing. Are you still at the concert? And I can't see you at the store. Oh, that's interesting. I am walking around in here. Huh. So I know why, because I rebooted. I reloaded. When I reload, it's not retracking my old character. There's probably a second one maybe walking around or something, but I haven't gracefully exited and entered from the multiplayer yet. When you first start the scene, it checks your stuff and it'll add somebody to the scene or not. But if I come or go, and then after you've started, it's not doing it yet. I'm triggering to add people to your scene that come in after you, but WalkTheWeb refresh is not refresh the whole screen. It's basically that only refreshes the canvas view at the second. So that's not really gonna make a difference to the whole scene. You'd have to actually reload it, F5 to reload the whole browser. We'll make some more graceful things. But see, as I go and fix some of these things, we'll have them in place. But see, I'm just checking out some of these different pieces. Because like right here, okay, here's one of my concerns. And this is one of the reasons certain things have a lag. Okay, so if I back up, notice that guy is still there in the scene. That's way too big for him to be loaded from this distance. So I need to make it where he loads from less of a distance, so that he doesn't interfere when I walk into the WalkTheWeb or the Webby store. I don't want him to interfere and start loading something way over there when I'm over here trying to load something. So that's the kind of stuff that I'm fixing. And by selecting that building, it is the, what did I call it? Tony Townend Tunes. That was my buddy Tony Townend, by the way, playing the music and singing it there. So figured I had to use it, and I'll name it after him. Okay, so Tony Townend Tunes. What do we got? I want to show the stage at a distance, so I'm going to select that, and that one's going to be in the high zone. Wow, that one's actually pretty big. I'm going to go even larger, put it in the extreme zone, but I'm going to resize the extreme zone. So, okay, so take that, save that there. Then this guy is going to be in the normal or high zone. High zone. And save that. And that takes care of the guitar too, I believe. Yes, it does. Okay, I'm going to add some more stuff on the stage, and I'm going to put them in the close zone. So then what I do is I come in here and I select, let's start with the normal zone, which is directly around it. If I separate from my avatar, I can back up and kind of see the distance. That is way too big for the normal zone. It means you're around the stage for the close-up detail. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to change it to, I want it to be, first of all, 50 high. We don't need it to be this high and away from the whole scene. We'll make it all above ground. See, that's that part. Now, this should be like 100. That means you're within a building distance of it. I'm going to put some amps on stage and different things that if you're that close, it'll load into the scene. And that one loads when you're in the high zone. Okay, that's all correct. Now the next one I'm going to do is action zones, and I'm going to look at the high zone, and this one's going to be where it actually, look at how big that is. That's way too big. 700. Okay, I need this to be around 300, and it only needs to be about because this is when he's actually going to start playing the music, load up and then start playing the music. Let's make this 100, even though I don't need a 100. Nobody's going to fly over it and then do that, except for admin, of course. In fact, let me make, let's go with 50, so it's all above ground. And from here, I'm going to make it, I need to go a little bit larger because I'm going to tell the sound to start playing at a certain amount, and I want to make sure it loads the guy before the sound starts playing at certain distances. So that'll help that. If you remote the negative gravity thing, I'm sure I'll find a way. Yeah, I'm going to remove it. I'm going to just basically check that whatever they type into that box is above 0, and if it's less than 0, it automatically becomes 0. So I will basically turn that off so they can't do the negative gravity, at least through the interface. Whatever people script is going to be whatever people script. I'm not trying to limit what they can do. I'm just trying to make it where it doesn't do things you shouldn't by default. So that's kind of where I'm at. Okay, edit action zones and the extreme zone now. This one you can see from quite a ways out. I'm going to make this about 400, so if you're flying over it, you'll still be able to see it. We'll make it 200 for the box size above the ground. And this part only needs to be about, let's go 500. Because this is only showing the stage. It's not showing all the other pieces. So that will be the distance we can see the stage, which I'm wondering how, yeah, I just want to make sure we're not touching the building over here with this corner. So let's find out. Now, if I save that zone And with all the other things I've already saved, I'm going to reload this piece and see what happens. 0 is what you use to hover. Yeah, of course. Let's see if, yeah, so, yeah. But we can, like I said, I'm just going to make it where you can go to 0 so that you can kind of freeze where you are and move around if you chose to in your scene. Because I'm thinking if you did something, let's say you're in space station or something, you should be able to kind of float around. So I want you to be able to do 0 for, you know, basically turning off gravity altogether. But at the same time, I don't want it to be, dominant. Okay, so now I'll work on those pieces. But what I should have done now is I want to see when that shell over there loads up. So let me see what the action zones look like. See, this one is... See, some of this stuff is related to this over here, which I haven't gotten to yet. Okay, so... see, if you don't see anything, you don't know to go there. So I want to make sure that you can see something. And I think it's this one. Is it loading? Okay, fine. Where's my stage? Did I make it too small? Can't see it. Am I not walking in it? It's a different angle? That's pretty funny. Okay, let me reload. Let's make sure we got a good load. If it didn't load right, then something's wrong. Yeah. Do. Okay, so from here, I know we're just gonna... See, if I walk on this side of the road, it doesn't have to load the stuff over there. Okay, so now I should be seeing, okay, so that's from that. This is from that stuff over there. This box right here, I'm seeing the corner of it here. This should be the extreme of the shell. I should be in it right now. Is it higher up than me? Oh, maybe that's the issue. Oh, I need to make it go below 0. I'm walking in the shell, but what's happening is I'm too low. And it's below 0. Okay, let me change that. Edit action zone. And extreme zone. I need to offset it just so that I go a little bit below 0. We'll go 20 just to make sure. I think the sand isn't even, and so what's happening is the avatar has a square 1 by 1 by 1 on the base of him, and that's what's actually being checked to see if it's in the action zones. So you do kind of want to intersect the ground and make sure it goes below the ground wherever you place something. Otherwise, you could miss the action zone, even though it really is there. So high, we're going to move these just a little bit below 0. And I'll go 10. That's not just a little bit, that's a lot. But we'll save that. And I want to do the same for the last one. It doesn't have to be much to make it work. I mean, even a half would have done it. But I'm just making sure we don't run into that problem anymore. Okay, so what? Oh my God, you removed walk speed from gravity, right? Now my no clip will work properly because I need to set it to walk. When I go up and down, I don't move. Oh, I gotcha. Yeah. By the way, you want to do no clip where you can walk through walls and everything else? It's actually easier than you think. If you look here under the avatar, and what we have is the basic avatar. Right at the top, when I tell it to do things, you're going to love this one. This is no clip at easy to do. You were trying to find the variable? Should have asked. No, I don't mind telling you this stuff because I'm training you to be my pro. Okay, check collisions. So we have the avatar name, which in our case, for our own case, is capital WTW dot and then my capital A for avatar. So my avatar, that's my avatar. And if I do, so basically it's this. If I typed wtw.myavatar and then check collisions equals false, it's not going to check collisions and you're going to walk through walls. Now, there could be other parts that have collisions applied, but I believe, let's double check that. If the ellipse is doing it, we don't need it anywhere else. So, yeah, we don't have it on anything else here. Okay, so yeah, so if you turn that one off, you're actually going to turn off the collisions and it's not going to have an issue. The only other thing that could be doing it is this avatar ellipsoid. This particular one, which would be the same thing, wtw.myavatar.ellipsoid, you could shrink that down to 0. New Babylon vector 000, that would shrink it down to nothing, and that would also help for collisions. So between those two things, that's where your collisions are coming from. So hope that helps. So those, yeah, so ellipsoid and check collisions. If you wanted to, you could cycle through the scene. There's another way of doing it where your avatar doesn't have to be able to turn off collisions, because, for example, you're going to fall through the ground. That's not exactly nice. So you could leave collisions on in your avatar, leave it on everywhere else, but then write a function that does, here's another way of doing it. If you write a function that does, by the way, in here there is get actually meshes length. Here it is. Okay, so when I do the list meshes, which happens to be developer tools, list loaded items, list current meshes, or you can list building molds, for example. If you do these and you see what building molds are in any one scene, these are the items that you're working with in that scene. If you left the community there, you wouldn't fall through the ground. But if you turned off just the building molds or just the thing molds, then basically you would be able to turn off just those items without everything else in the scene. So if you look here, there is a, this one basically goes through all the meshes for scene meshes length, and for each one of these meshes, like there, if you said dot has collisions, or whatever it was, yeah, has collisions equals false, then you would be turning off the collisions on all of those objects. So if you only wanted to do the other ones, like let's see which ones we got here. We have that list, we have list up those things, thing molds. Here's the building molds. So if you cycled through for var equals WTW building molds length right there, this particular thing in the common file, you could get each mold right here. The mold, you grab each mold and then you set the mold. Here I set them to visible. I was checking to see if they were visible or not. But in your case, you could take the mold and you could set it to has collisions, turn it off. And you'd be able to walk right through the walls. I've done that before, by the way. I had a no-clip function in place where you could just, it was on the toolbar here, where you could just turn off the, turn off all the things so you could walk through them. But the problem was I didn't need it once I did turn the camera off, because now I'm walking through the walls, I'm going through everything I need to as I'm building, and it builds according to where this camera is, not where your avatar is. Also, I made it where the avatar is what's choosing what loads, so I can look around a scene from whatever distance I want and get the big picture without looking at the... see, I got all these other boxes way out here. So that's what I'm trimming down right now, by the way. But yeah, so that's what I'm doing. I'm able to walk around in here. Check collisions equal false. Yep. Yes, that's true. That is correct. Because you can either turn off your collisions at your avatar, or you can turn off the collisions of what you're trying to walk through. What I was saying is that if you use the code, there may be still another object that he has on him that is doing the ellipse may still be blocking. So the ellipse does do collisions too. So you may have to shrink the ellipse down to nothing. The other option, though, instead of doing it that way, is if you do this little cycle right here of building molds, the length of each building mold, get the mold, and then from the mold dot do... you can do it on list meshes, but remember, you're going to get the ones that are underneath you, and your gravity is going to fall right through the ground. If you do it this way and do, for example, building molds, all the buildings will become where you can walk right through them. So... no, actually, list meshes, no, that's a list just to get the list. It just dumps it to the console log. But what I'm saying is use the, you can use these, a function like this to do it. So this right here, this, for example, is the array of all the molds by name. If you want to know all the properties of a mold, then it's real easy to check. You can actually look in the object definitions, and it'll automatically show you there. But otherwise, you can get the mold by name, which is this item right here. Once you have the mold, you set dot check collisions equal false, and it would do it. Yeah. I don't see a need for it in the common program at this time because you do have the camera that can already go through everything. So I'm not going to add it in there just yet. We could throw it in for developer tools later on if we want. It's not a problem, of course. I just don't want to make the core code any bigger than it has to be. It's all resources. Okay, so... Okay, so now here we go. Basically, I was double checking this. Now that I've reloaded it, let me get back to my avatar. And well, actually, I didn't reload it. I made this area bigger. Now I can check the thing to see when it's going to load and make sure it's all working good. Okay, still showing the. I'm still showing the load zones on purpose. I need to kind of do some set order so that it automatically gives you the ground first, avatar second, then all the buildings afterwards. I think that would be a real helpful load sequence. So I'll have to set some priorities on that kind of stuff and see if I can't get it to do that first. I think I can. Because community, if it loads first, I think we would... Yeah, I think I want to do a priority on those, and I know how to do it. So that if basically it loads the scene first, and it won't do the building or the things unless the scene's already loaded. Avatar needs some priority in that too. Avatar just kind of loads as it's available, so Avatar isn't necessarily in the mix. I could make it in the mix, though. Well, most of the Avatar gets loaded asynchronously, so it's actually adding the animations after the first couple of them, which are your walk, your idle, and a couple things there. Then it actually keeps on loading animations, but you can already use the first ones that it's loaded. It doesn't have to wait for them all to be loaded for it to be able to move around. So you can actually walk while it's still loading other animations into the scene. So, okay, so now that box right there, I may still have to make this bigger, but that box should be where the shell shows up. Hello, shell. Where are you? I'll sit here a second and just see what's happening. I don't know why the shell is happening there. I can't see the... See that? The shell should have loaded from the distance. I'm not seeing... Sometimes if I refresh them, it shows, you know, ones that may have not been. See how how thick it is now. That's showing me what it really looks like. Okay, where's the corner? This, okay, so it needs to go farther forward than sideways. And I don't know where the... You know what would be helpful is I need to design a way that I can tell it to show just a particular building. So like if I selected this building over here, then when I go to this action zones, then it shows me just that building's action zones, for example. I can see when I'm working on one of the items, I can turn around and just open up an action zone and look at it. So that's not what I'm talking about. I'm talking about when I'm actually working on in the main scene and I'm trying to kind of make them efficient. It would be helpful if I had them in there. Because see, like the extreme zone, that zone right there, I can't even see this zone. I don't need it to be that tall though. You're not going to see that shell from that high. If you did a flyover, it wouldn't really matter. But if I set collisions to false, then I wouldn't know what originally didn't have collisions. Yes, you would. I've got you covered on that, actually. What I do is this. In here, what I have is two things. This is the array as the definition of what it should be. Okay? That's the original values. When you load the mold using that name and then set it on the mold, now you're actually setting the mold without changing the array's value. So once you've done that, the only thing you have to do is look in the array for that same mold name of the mold, because if you go mold.name equals this mold name, then you would know to grab that record, and then in here what we have is this section right here. Here's the structure of a mold. Here's all the values. So in your mold definition, which is at that level in the array, if you look in here, you have mold ID, you have mold index number. So if there's multiple instances of the same object in the scene, it'll have a different mold IND opposed to the mold ID. So this is our instancing. This is our definition of where it is in the database. This is our instancing in the scene. Then we have everything from shape, covering, all these different things. We have mold name, which is going to be what you're matching up to find the mold. And then once you do, check collisions, and it's either going to be a 1 or a 0 or a 1. See, collisions should be a 1 by default. Yeah, I'll fix that. So we'll have a 1 by default. So it's going to be 1 or 0 based on whatever it is. So that's a quick way to see what it's coming from the database, what it's set at. You just have to look up that and then reset them back. Yeah, I can give you a breakdown after we stream. I can even show you how to write the function, just to make it real easy and stuff. I can show you how to do it. Okay. Let's see now. You're going to have to make a plugin that is all of your hacks. So basically, you can turn off and on things. Give it a control panel where you can turn off and on different things in admin, of course, and then have it turn on all the, off or on different scripts so that it shows you different stuff. So, that's just a cool thing to do if you want to. Okay. Well, I tell you what, I'm going to take about a 5-minute break, and then I will be back. So I'm just going to go refill my coffee cup, and okay. So enjoy the music. I know there's music there. I don't know if you can even hear it. It's been pretty low. I'll crank up the music a little bit louder, and I will be right back in a minute. Right now you're using snippets and dev tools. but I could make a custom add-on. Yeah, see, that's the way to do it. That, a custom add-on, then basically it's a plugin others can do, and we can get it out there, make it available for anybody who wants to be able to kind of hack their own instance of it. That's pretty cool. Hacker tools, it's all good. Okay, I'm back. Here we go. And let's see, if I'm running on those code pages, it probably works better if I put my little mug on this side. No. Okay. Okay, so microphone's back on. That's a good sign. Brain's all here on a Wednesday. Okay, let's see where we are. So I've got this out here. It's pretty good sized. It doesn't seem to be... Well, first of all, I don't need it anywhere near that height because you're not going to see it from that distance anyway. So I'm going to move that to a lot less. I'm above you just testing some stuff. Cool. Cool. Yeah, this particular one, let's see, let me get back in here a little bit. I can see where I'm at. Let's see, be 100 or let's try 80. Oops, 880. Okay, so that would be that piece of it. The other thing is I don't really need it to be seen that much from behind. Let me, not that way. It's this way. Nope, that way. Okay, got the right direction. I'm going to make it where you see it more from this direction. For some reason I go with round numbers even though I'm trying not to make sure everything overlaps itself. Okay, the second one, select high zone. This one I'm going to move this way also, just a little bit. Because it is more about what's in front of it, not behind it. Okay. That should be okay. Save that action zone. Now, let's see what's happening here. I know I got to move my cursor a little, or my character a little closer so it doesn't load this whole half to get to this whole half. Okay, this half of the scene just to get to where I want to test something else. I'm going to run over here. And, okay, so from over here, what I'm seeing is that box right... I think it's this box that comes out in the middle of the street. This one should be the extreme zone for that. Let me find out. I'll park it right here. There it is. Okay, wait a minute. It's the extreme zone, but wait a minute. There's something else wrong because that... Oh, that's not the box because I'm not in it right here. I'm not seeing that box. Let me see. There it is. Okay, so this box right here. See, when they go through the ground, I have it outlining. That's why you get this little blue line. But when they break under the ground, you don't see the line on the ground. So, okay, so this one right here loads that. That's not bad. Which means it goes right across here. That's actually pretty good. So anywhere in this direction, if you walk anywhere over here, you're going to get the clam. Well, let's see. Is it going to prove me wrong? There it is. And then, well, see, it's already loaded him. Why does it load him so soon? He should be in the full zone, not in that zone. Let's see if it's not. Okay, so right here, should get that. And then how far? Now see, it shouldn't be both. Something's not triggering right. Shouldn't be both. Because one does the clam, the other one does the pieces inside. I've got something not working right. See, when I'm in this scene, and it may be some of the overlapping of different objects, could be that the multiplayer is going, I don't know. there's something that changed, because if I'm in this scene right here, okay, load up, there it is, and give me my avatar. There it is. Okay, so let's see, that's the close one up there. This is the next size right there. And see, they're both disappearing. That's not right. Okay, so there's something wrong on here, because where I'm standing, there's one more box, and that should be where the stage comes in, is this outer box. That's why I was doing something weird that I couldn't detect. Okay, so I know I keep saying the word so. It ends up in my dictionary every once in a while. Okay. Edit the building. Actually, I don't even have to say that. All I have to do is walk back into here so I can see it again. And right click on this. That's the bowl. And show this. It's loaded in high. Okay, it should be extreme. That's where I wanted it. Save that. And just to make sure everything works as expected. Because if it's not working as expected, that's, yeah, hence why I'm working on it. Okay, so there's that guy. Okay, I'm going to back up, and as soon as I leave that section, he should disappear, but the shell should still be here. There we go. That's what I was expecting. Oh, hang on a second. I'll be right back. Okay, I'm back. Sorry about that. Okay, so where were we? We were checking out this scene. Okay, so the shell is still there all the way to there. So then the shell is working from that distance. Then the man is working from that distance. Should automatically load. There he is. And of course he loads in and animation didn't automatically start. That's another issue. I'll worry about that another time. One thing at a time, right? Okay, so with that fixed, let's see how it does in the scene. Notice I'm always running it in more than one browser at a time, so I can run this multiple instances and stream. And I was loading, I've got Blender loaded down here. I have OBS loaded. I have a ton of stuff loaded on my desktop. So if it's able to pull up through all that stuff and still work, then I guess I'm doing all right, huh? Am I able to see all the other players in JavaScript? Yes. What I have is, if you look in the constructor, there is an array. I think it's just called avatars. Oh, it's part of the multiplayer one I did. Yeah, it's not in here. It's in the multiplayer version, in the multiplayer plugin. I'll be posting that. I just got to finish doing a couple things on it, and then I'll be posting that out there. But what it has is this. There's in the main JavaScript here, at the top of the page, there is avatars group, and this one is wtw3dinternet.avatars. That is the group of all the avatars, and it is the avatar definitions. So like I have this, object definitions file, and you saw the one for new mold, well, there's one for new avatar def, and here's the pattern of everything you can see from everything from the name, from the different avatar parts, which are each mesh that's underneath it. So the parts that have their colors and whatever else is part of that. Animation defs, instance. There's their instance. There's their user ID. If they're logged in, the user ID is there. Otherwise, the instance is what's used to do everything. The instance is part of the name of the actual avatars. If you were to check in your scene, if you just want to know which avatars are in your scene, I use the instance ID and the, it starts with the word person. So person-instance ID. That's how I find every single avatar. And if you want to look, like right now, let's see, is anybody in my scene here? I'll create one. You know how I have all these different lists, different things? I'll create one that lets you list the different avatars in your scene. I think that'd be helpful. But what they do is, I don't see anybody in here. If I come in here, list loaded objects, and then list current meshes, you'll see like thing molds. Okay, there's a lot of stuff that's loaded right at this moment. There's my action zones, building molds, thing molds, connecting grids. I have them kind of color-coded a little bit just to try to help a little bit on some of the items, especially action zones and connecting grids. And then you have things like my avatar right there. If somebody else is in the scene, you would see one that starts with person hyphen and then the instance ID that they use. And it will show you all the various parts of that avatar. See, like here I have avatar, my avatar, and then I have my avatar scale, my avatar camera, center position. Then if you look farther, there's more my avatar stuff, and what you're going to find is you're going to find the here it is, my avatar, and it's everything from the hat to the chest to the left hand, right hand, all those pieces everything to do with the avatar. So the shoes and everything. Then, yeah, so it's every piece of the avatar, all the meshes that are involved in it. So that's what we have there. Okay, so yeah, they're all available. They are in there. Again, I'm in front of you. Oh, okay. I don't know why it's doing that. Am I maxing out loading some stuff here? Or the fact that I'm running it in more than one window at a time and doing it? I don't know. I've got too many things running at once probably. We don't need that to open anymore. Start changes. I'm not actually changing anything there. Okay, well, I see that see, this is that part where it deleted you because you left when you rebooted, and I don't have it re-adding you when that happens. I haven't coded that yet. When you move, your eyes still pop out. Okay, just so you know, it's the turning. I fixed a couple of the animations, but I have to finish the rest of them. If I put this on selfie, this is what he's talking about. Okay, so if I move forward, notice the eyes don't pop out. I can move backwards and it's fine. It's when I turn, it does the bug-eyed thing. That's some animations I need to reload, but I got to find the ones that I did so I can replenish them and fix it correctly. But I can fix it. I fixed it on all the other stuff because I can even run forward. See, running backwards does it too. So I got a couple of them I need to fix. So I will. What it was is, I can tell you what it was. It was, okay. But yeah, so what happened was, when I first started doing the animations, I was trying to save as many cycles as I could, save as much, any irrelevant things. And when I downloaded any kind of animation, when you download it, you get these options. First of all, I was doing 30 frames per second, so that's all good. But this keyframe reduction, I tried uniform and non-uniform to see if I could get, what I could get. And what ended up happening was I started seeing some really weird quirks. Sometimes it would, like the eyes bugging out would all of a sudden happen. Or you'd be doing something, it's doing its dance moves or whatever, and all of a sudden it turns sideways where he leaves the ground for no reason. Well, each one of those things were part of those trying to reduce the keyframes. So when I noticed it was doing that, I went back to the full versions of them, and now it's not doing it. So that part's fixed, but I haven't fixed all the animations. I just fixed some of them so far. I'll put out an update once I finish correcting them all. And then we'll go ahead and make it, make it available to everybody. Okay, so, and if you haven't seen this yet, you can at any time change your camera to like 3D glasses. Now it's waiting for you to put on the 3D glasses and everything renders in 3D. The red cyan glasses. Or you can even go to VR and you can view this whole thing in VR. And there's also VR with gamepad. These are the default ones. We have some definitions, and we can set up some things for particular things like Vive, Oculus, and a bunch of others. But I'll be working on that at a later time. Okay, so walking in here, let's see. I'm just trying to figure out where there it is. Okay, so that comes in about there. That's not bad. And then over here, we get the guy running on the stage. And then I'll make it where if you walk this close, I'm going to put an amp next to him on the ground and maybe some wires or something. I don't know. We'll see. We'll see what I need to do on that. Okay. That all looks good. That one's running better. And I think we're good with that for right now. Basically, if I walk away, in position to everything, not bad. I'm not too close to them. That's what I wanted to make sure is that it wasn't overlapping when I do that. Now, you can still see that there's a shell there until you get to right here. So, I think I'm not loading it. Well, here. If I get to here, and I go, oh, what's that down there? And I'm walking, and then I should see the shell. There it is. Okay, so the shell does show up at a certain point, but it's not interfering overly for this stuff. These kind of things, I need to kind of clean up some of the load zones for this building, and I'll get to it. See, it gets rid of most of that stuff by then, and yeah, there's a lot of stuff it loads, so when it gets here and everything else, it has to do quite a bit. But see, there's a point here. There I am. Now I'm in the load zone for it. And Webby should load up on top of the desk there. There he is. Some things take longer to load. It depends on the size of the files and all kinds of goodies. So okay, well, I think we're pretty good here. I think we've cleaned up a little bit of it. I've got to keep on cleaning up on this scene. I'll continue to work on it, and you'll be seeing different updates along the way. Notice that we do have things like, I did fix this. You can play the animation, or you can play the video in here, and of course we can walk around while it's playing. That's no problem. The sound works on it, and if you get closer, it's louder. If you get farther, it's quieter. You can pause it. You can rewind it to the start again. The other thing you can do now is you can click full screen, and it will take you to a full screen mode. So, kind of cool. Well, it should say full tab instead of full screen, but it's fine. It's a change in browsers. They don't let you go to full screen necessarily without you telling it to go. So, okay, so the buttons all work. We're good on that. I haven't added like a button in the center of the screen yet. That'll be nice, but I'll do that. That way, just by mousing over, you get like a triangle in the center of the screen, knowing that you could click on it to work. Let's see. Okay, and we have our water fountain. Notice as you're walking towards it. There it goes. And it's spraying out all over the place. Nice, nice, nice. So that's our changes. That's some of the updates we've done in the past couple days and everything else. But it's looking pretty good. I just keep adding things, and I keep on refining it and making it work like a pretty cool scene. In the mix, things that we're going to be doing. Just so you know, we are going to bring this arcade alive by actually making it interactive, where you can walk up to a game and actually play it. That's the goal. That's where we're heading, and we're not there yet, but it is where we're heading and what we're going to do. I'll be adding some more games in here, make it look even more like an arcade. We do have some cool stuff, like we added the skee ball tables, so I'll be making those work where you can walk right up to them and then click on a ball and it picks it up, and then you would throw it and it would keep your score. So we're going to see if we can't turn that into a real live game here at some point. That's on the agenda. So we'll figure it out. We will figure it out. Otherwise, when you're walking around in here, you'll be getting... You're going to see some video games, and we're going to put one in there that you can actually play. So when you walk up to it, you can actually click on the buttons, and what it'll be is you're going to... I think what I'm going to do is you're going to walk up to it like this, and I don't know. Maybe I'm going to make it where you're pushing the buttons or clicking the screen, and it actually moves on the screen. I don't know. Or we can zoom in, where when you get here, click to zoom, and then you basically zoom in on the screen, and then you play the game, and then you click back away. Or you go in first person mode, so you would actually... Yeah, see, right now my backup mode is actually turning my head backwards, so it's kind of deceiving. But can you imagine trying to follow these moving buttons while the head's moving so you can actually play the game? We'll figure that out. We'll make it where it doesn't move around while you're doing it. Or the controls move with you. Then it wouldn't matter so much. You can sit there watching the game and everything else, but yet the controls would be on your overlay so that you can be leaning on certain buttons without them moving around. That might be helpful. Otherwise, we'll make them part of the actual panel on there where you're clicking the buttons to play. We'll have to see. We'll play around with that. We'll see where we're going with it. It's kind of dizzying when you use this version. I'm not quite used to it. So like if I'm running, God, that's very bouncy to run. Why am I in the ground? Okay, something happened. I'm falling through the ground. Okay, that mode doesn't exactly play well with others. That was interesting. I've never had that happen before. You know what? It's too much movement. I think I need to dampen the movement. I'll have to think about that. Is there a way to dampen the movement of the head so you still get some of it, but not quite so much? I don't know. Yeah, we'll worry about it. Or we'll pick... maybe we can do it by making sure the head isn't moving too much in the actual animation. If we change those moves in the actual animation, then I think the movement as we're standing here and doing things doesn't have to be so extreme. Because what gets me is when I turn and stuff. Oh, I know why it's so deceiving. The turning that I'm doing is actually turning the head and rotating. But because it turns its head, your camera is turning farther than you're actually rotating. So I start to turn and I think, hey, I'm there, and then I let go and I'm not quite there yet. Hey, Webby. This is just kind of weird playing it in first person. I don't do it a lot, but it does. It works. It's just all over the place. It's kind of interesting at best. I need to dampen those movements. Maybe I can... Yeah, I don't know. I'll play around with that at some point. The whole thing is, I need to make it where it's usable. And right now, that's not really usable. So I need to make like another version of it where it doesn't have that movement, in case you want to get the less than real life effect. And there he is. And I know the hammock already slows everything down. I haven't worked on it yet. Where's the hammock? It's over here someplace. There it is. I didn't shrink any of the graphics for that one yet, so that's actually a little bigger than it plans on being. But the details are pretty good. This one definitely has some really high quality details. Just saying. He did a really good job on this one. Even the pillow, the stitching sticks out. So... it's a cool item. Cool item. But yeah, I'm going to work on some of these items and make sure they're not overlapping of when they load. Also, I got to work on figuring out why that one over there loads and unloads. Oh, well, thank you very much, Eva Champion. Sorry, I can't read. Eva Champion. Hey, is that my old buddy Eva? How you doing? Thank you for subscribing. Oh, yeah, I figured it was you. How you been? I haven't seen you in a while. I know, I haven't been streaming as much either. working on some scenes. Look at this stuff. We have multiplayer now. Here, go to, let me give you the address. I'm going to give you a version of this address. Let me fix that. I don't know how well it's going to work. I'm still working on making it better and everything, but yeah, this is what we're playing around with. Okay, so we got some people here on the beach sitting there talking. We've got the pier. By the way, so far I've been able to walk up the steps on the pier too. I got some lags in a few places, so I still have to fine-tune some of this. Also, I think I might drop some of the 4K graphics, only do certain things that really matter. But see, I can walk up these stairs, so the stairs are working. That's good to know. I'm working on my screenplay. Nice! How's that coming along? Screenplay, how cool, Eva? And I'm working on, we're going to be adding a chat so you can click on the other people in the scene and actually talk to each other. But we have some really good multiplayer now. We can actually track everybody as they're walking around the scene pretty good. First time when you first load, it's a little clunky, but I'm working on that. I've got some things I can do to preload stuff that'll speed things up, but we're getting there. We're getting there. But this scene, like I said, has some 4K graphics and all kinds of stuff, so it's definitely loading more than most people would. You know, most scenes will at the beginning here. But it's getting there. It's getting there. But as you can see, we even have video, so you can turn on a video and watch it while you're in here. So, like a screen. See, I'm going to set that up one of these days where it's actually showing me stream while I'm streaming up on that screen. That would be cool to have it streaming me right there. So in the scene, I'll work on some things like that. We'll have them in there eventually. Yeah, see, like I said though, we can play a video. Oh, and the sound is also as you walk closer to it. Yeah, this will be a new account because this is a different copy of the program altogether. So just create an account on here if you want. Yeah. Yeah, so it's getting there. It's getting there. Oh, you were talking to Crazy. Oh, okay. Sorry. Okay, so like I said, I'm working on different sections, making this run really smooth here. And we got this over here. See, they're not reloading the animation like they should. Some bugs I gotta fix. It's funny because it's like once they've been loaded once, they don't. It doesn't tend to reload them. Yeah, no problem, Eva. No problem. There you go. Welcome back. Okay, so screenplay. Tell us about your screenplay. Okay, so some of these are not reloading the animations. I'll double check that because I don't want them to... I want to make sure they're unloading properly so that they reload properly. And I think that's what's happening is if the animation didn't stop properly and unload, then they don't tend to reload. See, I'm in this scene. I've already been in here. Come on. It's still loading things. Need to load by proximity too, so the things closest to you load first. There's some order of things that are happening on. It's a fan-made movie. Nice. That's cool. That's fun to do. Based on Pokemon Sword and Shield. Okay, cool. Very cool. I'll have to check it out. Am I up for voice chat? I tell you what, when I'm done here, I will go over to Discord and we can all join in over there. In fact, you know something? I pretty much got to the pieces I was planning on doing today, so you know what? Let's all move over to Discord. Let's catch on Discord and talk over there and everything, and we can keep on going from there. Let's see. If you're not part of Discord yet, jump on Discord. Click on there and join in with us. Everybody's welcome always. And when I'm not on here streaming, then you can always find me on Discord. I'm always available. I check it often. I'm either hanging, hovering around it, or coding next to it. So one way or another, yeah. Okay. Yeah, as soon as you get over there. Yeah, as soon as I go over there. Okay, so, well, thank you all for joining me today. Let's all move over to Discord, keep on working from there, and yeah, everything's looking pretty good. We're getting there. I'm adding some cool stuff. Oh, see, this time the animation did load. So I don't know why. I think if it completely unloads, then it doesn't have a problem loading. If it gets stuck unloading, that's when it doesn't reload. So like if I walk over to these guys on the beach over here, I'm going to fix that lag, by the way. Okay, so I walk over here. There's the umbrella, and there's the chairs. Oh, see, the animations work now. Okay, as long as I walked far enough away for them to completely unload, then when I walk back in there, it actually does reload, and the animations are working. Okay, so that's not as bad of an issue as I thought it was going to be. We'll keep going. Okay, I'll meet you in Discord. Sounds good, Eva. I'll see you. I'll be right there. Okay, are you aware that if you go too far out of the map, the game breaks and freezes? Yes, I am, because what it's actually doing is it's actually unloading the way we can load and unload a building, we can actually unload a community. The thing is, if you move real far out, there's a chance that you're getting outside of the actual dome that is the sky. But there's some things like that. Yeah. I know you can go quite a bit. Technically, you can keep on going. I've actually walked on one of these scenes for like hours in one direction, and it will keep on going. So I know that there is an endless part of the numeration. I would imagine that they're using floating point decimals and stuff, so for the movement and positions. So I'm sure there is a point where it's going to be too far away because you're going to hit the max of the value. But that's about it. I don't think there's any other limitation, and I didn't personally put any limitation in. The only thing is, like I said, you are going to run into some things like the Sky Dome only goes so big, maybe. If I said anything like that, I might have. So there's some things like that, probably. Safeguards in place on that stuff. But, yeah, we'll see. We'll keep on going. Keep on adjusting things as we go and trying to keep on making it better. So... okay, well, thank you all for watching me today, and I really do appreciate it. And welcome back, Eva, and thank you, Bookus and YouTube, for hanging out with me. Really do appreciate it, and yeah, everybody that's here. Yeah, we got some. Let's see, who else is here? Bird Fan, yeah, welcome, Bird Fan, and another YouTube viewer, and yeah, cool. But yeah, thanks for all hanging out with me today. I do appreciate it, and I will see you on Discord. Have a great day, and let's keep walking the web, right?